So we're getting this is the Foliar Spray Soil Saviors program. You've got the Earth Syrup, Earth Compound, Licorice, Resonator, Earth Kelp, Earth Tonic, and Earth Angels. A lot of really highly concentrated nutrients from the ocean, from the earth, and then also over 1,000 special select microbes to go to work in the soil and bring the soil back to life, create vitality. And we're here at some hunting ground to treat 1 to 2 acres of food plots to create massive amounts of, attention. Animals pay attention to the nutrients, the activity in the soil, the vitality, and the frequency that comes out of that soil. And they are heavily attracted to it. So that's what this is all about, is creating healthy earth, healthy crops, healthy plants for animals, wildlife, for humans, for everything, for the environment, and bring it all back to the way it used to be. So this is Otto. We're here at his property. Otto, yep. Good to see you again.
See you back.
Yeah. So he's got some really good hunting land. So guys, this is the 10-acre box for Soil Saviors products. There's 7 components here between super concentrated nutrients and microbes. And again, over 1,000 specific, unique types of microbes that break down toxins in the soil and also break down nutrients and make them bioavailable. So the term bioavailable that's used by the agriculture industry is kind of just sprayed all over the place inaccurately, because a plant will pull up anything that it can to replace, it'll pull up heavy metals, for instance, to replace real nutrients. So bioavailable is whatever a plant will pull up. But whenever you have nutrients like this and microbes, a plant is going to use that and more freely give up and not use any of the heavy metals and the toxins. Meanwhile, while the plants are not pulling up the bad stuff, the heavy metals, the synthetics, are being broken down by the microbes in here, transmuted into usable nutrients that the plants can eventually use. So that's the power of this program. So this is a 10-acre foliar program, and this can be used for gardening, for hunting land, which we're using it for this particular instance. But animals, especially wild animals and cattle, chickens, are going to pick up on frequencies of nutrients and activity in soil. Animals are very aware of what's going on in the soil and their environment. So they pick up on nutrients, real nutrients, from a long ways away. So when they're surrounded by millions of acres of synthetically grown corn and soybeans and things like that, they're going to pick up on the frequency of the land that this is treated on, and they're going to collect there because they know there's real nutrients, real health, and the flavor of whatever it is they're eating is going to be much better. And that's what it does. And it's going to create much healthier deer or wildlife in general when they have real nutrients for proper genetic expression, which translates to immune function. So a lot of the hunters out there that are dealing with, you see the DNR putting out constantly, deer wasting disease. Well, the deer are drinking water from runoff from agriculture, from synthetic chemicals, all the pesticides, herbicides, and the NPKs, and that's causing major problems: improper genetic expression and improper immune function. That's why animals, humans get sick, is because of the environment. So this fixes the environment and creates real nutrients, real genetic expression, and real immune function in the animals that you have on your land. All of these components treat 10 acres. We're only treating 1 acre, so it's easy to measure about 1/10, and we're mixing a concentrate in the bucket today. This is the licorice, which is the most nutrient-rich, bioavailable, water-soluble humate on the planet. There's 77 plus essential colloid minerals. That's elements and minerals, heavy metals, for instance, that come out of the rock crust of the earth into the soil and are broken down by the microbes correctly and converted into carbon bonded colloid minerals that are beneficial for life and vitality on earth. Doesn't matter if it's plants or animals or human beings. Those are the usable versions of the nutrients. So we're using a couple of scoops out of each one of those bags.
And what was this stuff? This was the Earth Syrup?
Yeah. And so you can see that this is more of like a mud consistency. So you really need to stir this in or aerate to break that down. And that's why we also use a filter sock when we put it in the spray tank, and we use much wider tip spray tips for the purpose of making sure that you don't clog your spray tips. Stein that? Yeah, absolutely. You want to do this, you want to stir with wood as he's stirring with, and you can just go consistently, nice and slow, and just keep it moving. Stir for about 20 to 40, even an hour. I know that sounds like a lot, but you want to keep agitating.
Would you recommend against using like a plastic tip with a drill bit if you get it in all plastic? Would that be okay, or just stick with wood, natural?
For the microbes, you want to stir with wood.
Okay.
And there's reasons behind that. Sure. So that was the Earth Angels. That's the concentrated microbes. And then this is also microbes. They're in a stabilized solution of water, or not water, sorry, aminos. So that's the Earth Tonic with potentized seawater as well. This component called Resonator comes from a specific farm with specific ingredients that's been done for 30 to 40 years. The expert that puts this together, Steve Moore. And then this is the last ingredient we're putting in. This is Earth Kelp. And this is a combination of micronized earth kelp, or ocean kelp, sorry, with seawater, with ocean-borne microbes. And that's the last component to go in. Then we'll stir this for 20, 30 minutes, and then let it sit. We'll stir it a few other times, let it sit all day, and let the microbes bloom in the concentrate, and then we'll add that into the spray tank later on today when we're going to apply. This 10-acre box, that's how big it is. And the 7 components, we're treating a 1 acre food plot today. So all we're doing is, you don't have to be super, super accurate on everything. 1/10 of each one of these packages into your concentrate before you put it in. Let it sit generally at least 2 hours, but I like to let it sit all day and let the microbes truly bloom. And then we put it in the, the spray rig, and then turn it loose, with obviously a lot more water. And then once the microbes get down into the soil, obviously there's a ton of food for them there, and they're going to go to work in the soil and just bloom that much more, take off. So,
and you said roughly per acre, you're looking at 25 to 35 gallons of water is a good mix.
1 acre's, depending on soil moisture, is about 25 to 50 gallons. And just to give you an idea how potent this is, just the licorice we tested on pastures for cattle, and 2 to 3 weeks after spraying just strips in the pasture, when the cows were released into the pasture, they stacked right on top of where it was sprayed. And that's just one component of it, the whole thing. So it just tells you they know where the nutrients are. So you don't want to mix it and then only use part of it and then let it sit for a week, because the microbes are going to eat what's in there. That's food for the microbes to bloom the population, and they're going to continue to grow. And if they run out of food, they'll start to die, right? And decompose. So you don't want that to happen. That's why 24 to 48 hours max, you want to put this in the spray rig with, more water ratio, and turn them loose on your land. You do not want to put a lid on them, because the microbes work through the atmosphere as well. That's why we don't do this. We're indoors, but we have the big bay doors open and things like that. The microbes interact with the environment, so they need oxygen. And there's just a lot of history behind, and understanding and science behind. That's why a lot of things can't happen in laboratories when it comes to microbial research, because it's
too shut up. It's
sterilized.
It's
not nature. It's the microbes aren't interacting with the earth, the energy of the earth, the atmosphere, all those things. So all those things need to be present for them to properly express themselves, so to speak. we're just changing out the tips to wider tips so that we don't clog any tips. So we're using a combination of two tips. One is a wide spray for foliar. You can see, it's got that almost smiley face cut in it, and that fans out. And then the 80-degree angle tip. And if you want to, you can even hollow those out a little bit more to make sure nothing gets stuck in it. That's what we do. And then make sure that you have them set in the right one. This is the 80-degree tip. And here's the wide angle spray on the outsides. Well, it could get clogged, but I mean, that's why we're running a filter before we put, the product in to catch any of the particles that are too big. So you shouldn't have any problems if you're paying attention to the right tips and then a sock filter or whatever type of filter you're using, pantyhose on the end of a hose, anything that you want to use. I mean, you're gonna be pretty good. I mean, this is pretty foolproof stuff. So Otto, you brought up earlier, which is a great point, about the kids. You want to teach the kids how to do all this stuff that you get on the farm, that you do in the timber, for deer hunting, for all of these things. You want to educate your kids how to do it.
Absolutely.
And there were some things holding you back in the way you used to do it.
Yeah, they want to be involved. They're at the age where they think this stuff is kind of cool, and I love that. I want them to be involved. I want them to learn how to do this. And some of the stuff they can absolutely be involved in, the seeding and whatnot, but when it comes to applying herbicides or, anything of danger, I don't want to near that stuff. So this is, hopefully going to reduce, and get rid of what I need to apply as far as chemicals. And this is something they can be involved in, and I don't have to tell them, no, you can't come help with this.
Beautiful. So it's important. I mean, we're doing this, the landowner Otto brought it up, which is perfect, which is why I do this stuff anyway. And why Dr. Will Spencer does this as well. We spent our whole childhoods with respiratory illness from ag chemicals and other toxins. So this is really important for children to take part in and learn about, that this is very safe for them. This is what the environment needs, and the environment dictates our genetic expression and our immune function. So with all the chemicals in our environment, that's why we're seeing Americans, with the hormonal, mental, physical illnesses. Well, I don't want that for my kids, and you don't want that for your kids either. So that's why we are demonstrating this that is very safe for kids to use. So we mixed this earlier this morning in the 5-gallon bucket for enough for an acre, right? And so what we're going to do is then we've got it's just a honey sock, a honey filter that you would normally use for harvesting honey. And that's perfect size to catch the particles. And we just pour the concentrate through the filter. And then we're ready to apply and put it in the spray applicator tank. Get some particles in there. There's the stuff that would have clogged your spray tips, but that all gets taken care of with the filter, and we're good to go.
So we'll go ahead and we got the sprayer loaded with about 20 gallons of water, and we'll add the bucket of the concentrate and then top it off with some more water. Use that to agitate and continue to stir. Yeah, see, this funnel has a filter in it too, so it's slowing the drain.
That's good.
And that added level of protection for the sprayer.
All right, we're getting ready to turn Otto loose. Just gonna hit about an acre, maybe a little bit more.
Just right around an acre is what I figure.
Because we've got almost 40 gallons in the tank now with the concentrate, and so he's gonna turn the first treatment loose and turn it into a deer magnet.
Excited to see what it does.
There you go. Well, you can see Otto behind me here treating his land, his hunting plot, with 90 essential nutrients, the highest grade, real nutrients, not synthetics, not NPKs, real nutrients, along with over 1,000 unique soil-borne, non-GMO probiotics, microorganisms. That's going to bring that soil back to light. And the deer are going to come from all around because of the frequency, the vitality of this soil. And that's what a hunter wants. That's what a wildlife enthusiast wants. Heal the soil, bring the wildlife back, bring vitality to not only the soil, but everything growing here, all the birds, everything benefits. Listen, when people say environmentally friendly, this is supposed to be in our environment. We're putting it back into the environment. That's the beautiful thing about this, right?
Thank you for watching the Soil Saviors product application video demonstration. If you have any questions, send us a message at info@soilsaviors.org. If you have not bought your Soil Saviors box yet and are ready to revitalize your soil once and for all, then go to soilsaviors.org and order today.